There is a Japanese expression which says, 生かされていただく. 生かされる is being lived. Maybe it's not quite the right translation. We tend to say we live, but being lived, there's a force, another force, not our force, but other force. Or Shin Buddhism, actually, they say other power. So my power, other power. So the other power makes us live. You get that? And they strongly feel it. And that's the reason why the Myokonin, especially at the lower class of the people, or general class, I should say, they're, in today's world, they are those Myokonin. They are not so proud of themselves or to push out themselves. They're just a humble being. And this also is the expression of not self-power to tell what's going on, but other power. Tariki is the Japanese term. Ta is other. Riki is power. Tariki. So this expression, ikasareru, being lived, there's other power to keep us alive. That's a very wonderful statement, I should say. Because there's no ego, no self. Other power keep us alive. So in their case, the reason why they are into Shin Buddhism or Myokonin-like people trust the other power, Amida power, to save them. Or in my term, nature's power to keep us alive and save them. When you have the finger cut, it heals. And many of the symptoms that we may go through can be healed. Maybe it's not totally 100,000%, so you live and die, but being lived. The other power would give us this opportunity to live against the law of entropy. Part of us are being thrown away. We are just holding tight. Input, output, air in, air out, food in, food out, thought in, thought out. We're processing and keep maintaining this. And I often said, and I can connect to this, ikasareru, itadaku, given the life by the other power. My expression has been something like riding the wave of the universe. And I thought that's just perfect because it's kind of surfing analogy that you're riding, but it's kind of like effortless effort that you go with whatever, and then you just have to use intuitive sense of which way the wave may, break down or go backward or whatever. So riding the wave of the universe. There's a universe way of making us alive. So we are being lived. Tariki power. That's the huge underneath current or the tide. And we are just a little bubble floating. So you are being lived. It's not your power. And that's very humble. That's Myokonin. And I'm not Myokonin, so I may look more arrogant, but I should like to say I understand it, I feel it. I do. The awakening experience is the other power. That's what I was arguing, talking long years ago. Japanese, how do you call it? Social media, one of those, club-like setting. Zen is seen from Tariki, the other power, the Shin Buddhism, their point of view. They call it Jiriki. Ji is on its own power. But on its own sounds like an ego, but that's not what I mean. On its own, in my view, is the nature's way. Nature, shizen in Japanese, is on its own by itself. That's it. So they are saying the same thing, except they have different tribe mentality a little bit, even religion. So they kind of say with each other, but it's still umbrella, under the umbrella of Buddhism. So they don't argue more than enough. But certain people may be inclined to this way or that way, but I see both ends of it, if I may say so. Like I mentioned about this Jiriki, Tariki, it means the same. I think Daisetsu said the same. Daisetsu Suzuki said the same thing somewhere. But, I found on my own. Why am I talking about it? Itadaki. Yeah, when you eat something, in Japan they say itadakimasu. Itadaku is being given. So you appreciate. Given the life of the fish, meat, plants, anything. Itadakimasu. We cannot ride the wave unless there's wave. We cannot live unless there's the other power. We cannot be, let's say, enlightened to know that unless we know such power exists. And we have to be open to feel that. Not because your wound get healed. Maybe you don't think like that. But that's what it is. So there's the wound in our mind too. The delusion or illusion or bad thought. The stomach is hurting, but you don't notice it. So it's the ego-driven approach of the mind. Ego has reason to be, but you have to go beyond that. Otherwise, you get so tightened up. So, itadakimasu. Thank you. And open up the mind. Samadhi, no mind, no self. Counterintuitive because you want to live your power and you want to be a macho. Maybe many women get attracted. And there's a truth to that, I'm sure. Otherwise we cannot. Anyway, Tariki, itadakimasu. Thank you. The sense of appreciation of being alive. That's humbleness. That's the sincerity turned into the humble acceptance that we happen to be here and make the best of stuff. All the living beings are in the same boat, doing their own thing. Not just us. They have their position and the way to live. And in a sense, just like the story of this Garden of Eden, once we get out of it, we kicked out of the original sin. That causes lots of trouble. Unless you figure out how to connect your mind with heart. So, I said enough. Itadakimasu. Thank you. Appreciate the way of being, riding the wave of the universe, or Amida Buddha, the God will be done. Thank you.